Does your wealth align with your values? In what ways does your wealth affect your decision making? How does wealth impact your family dynamics? These are the big questions we'll help you answer on your road to wealth savviness. Join Amar Shah and his guest experts in the Savvy Wealth Podcast.
Yeah.
Yep. This stuff here is what's interesting. The president, is this going now? The president of the Chosen Few in Long Island, New York, was really incensed about Newsweek magazine in 1999 published a series of articles called Americans at War. And in that, they had something like, I forget how many pages dedicated to World War I, and then many pages to World War II, and something like 6 or 7 pages to Vietnam, and 6 paragraphs for Korea.
Yeah, I noticed, from when I was doing research, the Korean War became the forgotten war.
Yep.
Especially the Battle of Chosin was, if we compare World War II, I think you're telling me the casualties,
That's what this shows right here. Like Iwo Jima had 6,135 Marines killed. That's 175 per day. Chosin had 3,115 killed, 208 per day.
Yeah.
Iwo Jima had 17,841 wounded, or 510 per day. Chosin had 14,000 wounded, 933 per day.
Yeah, so the intensity of this war
but it was only a 15-day operation compared to the 36 days
right.
of Iwo Jima. Even medals of honor, there were more per ones there. On Iwo Jima, the Marines outnumbered the Japanese 3-1. And Chosin, the Chinese, outnumbered the Americans 10-1. Iwo Jima Marines killed 20,000 Japanese, or 571 per day. Chosin defenders killed 28,000 Chinese, or 1,867 per day. And Newsweek magazine didn't think the Korean War deserved more than 6 paragraphs.
Yeah. It's a travesty that I think it has such an important part in American history, but it hasn't gotten the attention that's justified for what's actually happened during that time period. And I guess you told me about this book, and you're actually in this book, right? You want to tell your story about this picture here? So
which one is it? Let's see what we got here. Oh, this is me.
Yeah.
That was in Pyongyang.
Yeah.
And it was already captured. We were there, really nothing to do, waiting to go further north. And we went in there and we found this flag of Stalin inside this foxhole. And it happened to be a Marine photographer right there.
Yeah,
he took the picture. And that's in Marine Corps archives, and that's how it got into the book.
Ah.
The other picture, you can't really see me, because I don't know exactly which one is me. Caparetta. What a story that is. Oh, here's had it covered up. This was our platoon, the landing at Incheon, and we had to go over the seawall. And this picture was taken. The big guy at the very top was my platoon leader, Baldomero Lopez. He was killed about an hour after this, and he got the Medal of Honor. He smothered a grenade. Anyway,
Yeah.
it's a very well done book.
Yeah. And so we'll put some links to this book and other places where people can learn about the Korean War. But let's just fast forward after your service, so after your time in the military. A lot of people that I've talked to have said that the military shapes them, right? The military will do one or so. So how did the military shape you after you left? So, like, what did the military give you to go forward?
Constantly trying to increase your level of competence. I went to work and I took a job at minimum wage, $1.25 an hour, I think it was at that time, and it was as a cost accounting clerk. And I was only there for maybe 2 months, and the girl that I was supposed to be replacing because she was pregnant, going to have a baby, when she came back, they kept me and moved her into a different area. And then I became manager of cost accounting, and I was transferred over to another company that was a Swiss company operating here. And from there I went from manager of cost accounting to controller, and I was treasurer for a few short months before I retired. But I spent several years with that company.
And so you used your GI Bill, or you got your
GI Bill for my bachelor's and master's degree, yes.
Yeah, and those were in accounting or
in business accounting.
Okay, yeah.
Master of business accounting.
And then you worked for a CPA firm, right? Later in life,
No,
or
all with the Swiss, Stafa Controls.
Oh, okay.
It was an interesting company because they did long-term contracts, maybe 4 or 5 years for the installation, and it's a little more of a challenge to determine income earned, and there's a procedure for it, and you can only claim as much on the actual labor. Material, as you delivered it to the site, you could claim that for the income. But the labor, it had to be a percentage complete. How much of the job is now done? And I got to looking that over, and we had a program for manipulation of accounts.
Mm-hmm.
And I created a program for percentage complete accounting, and eventually my crew of 8 accountants and myself was replaced just by myself and the software. We were able to do the accounting off of the software. Price Waterhouse was our auditors, and they were amazed, and they said it's the only one they'd ever seen.
And so let's fast forward to like the last 10 years of your life. So you moved in here, right, into this retirement community. So how was that move?
The 10 years I was retired all during that time. Taking care of the house became a burden, and we looked for a place to move into. I looked at a lot of places, and this is the one that I chose. My wife would rather have stayed in San Diego, but this one is the one that really had the best opportunities for us. And then she adopted to it. She fell in love with the place after she got here.
Yeah.
And,
So how did you so were there what factors were you looking at when you were trying to choose a place?
Long-term care is a key thing. They have excellent long-term care here.
Yeah. So that, and then geographically with family. I mean,
I have a daughter that lives here in Carlsbad who has cancer. She was diagnosed 1 year before we moved in here.
Mm.
And, in fact, that delayed our move in when she was diagnosed.
Yeah, I remember.
Because we were supposed to move in then, but we waited a year. And, she is still fighting it. She just had the right lobe of her liver removed last month.
Yeah.
When I was 16, I left and went into that boarding house, and I got that job, and it helped me. That was tough, going to school in the daytime, working a swing shift at night.
Yeah. So, I guess just out of curiosity, like what would be like an average day here?
An average day here, I get up about anywhere between 4 and 5 o'clock. I make a whole pot of coffee, and I drink that waiting for going across the street at 6:30, and then we have a bunch of people to gather around. We drink coffee and tell lies, and the usual thing. And then about 7:30 or so, I go down and have breakfast. I always have breakfast every day. That's main meal for me.
Yeah.
And so after breakfast, I come back and I watch the news for a little while, and then I go over to the health center. My good buddy is over there. He's permanently over there. Visit with him. Come back, and for a while I was on the finance committee,
Right.
and that took up half of a day, always, on the finance committee. But I had to give that up because of my hearing. It got so bad I couldn't even hear what was going on over there.
Yeah. And then you're also doing a balance class, right?
Yeah, I take balance class. I was taking them. I've kind of shied away from it now. They have all kinds of classes like that. You can go down to the fitness center and do classes down there. They got a great swimming pool indoor down there. They got an outdoor swimming pool. A lot of stuff like that.
A lot of stuff to do here.
A lot of stuff to do.
Yeah. I mean, so if somebody were to ask you, what are the two best things about moving into a retirement community like this, what would you say?
The medical care has to be number one, and the quality of the food is number two.
Yeah. And prior to moving in, were you able to test out a meal here, or did you eat here?
Oh yeah,
how does that work?
In marketing, they gave us meal tickets. I think we had 5 of them.
So you can try it out, kind of.
And they took us on a tour of the place. Marketing has their own golf carts, the blue ones you see over there. And they took you to, and I was amazed by the buildings. The apartment buildings are continuous, and you can go from your apartment all the way to the dining hall without ever going outside.
Yeah.
Thinking about the rainy day stuff.
Yeah.
And we were originally assigned a building on the 3rd floor of one of the buildings over here, which is exactly what we wanted. 3rd floor with an easterly view. And that's when we found out that Vicki had cancer. We turned it down. And then we came back a year later when she was pretty well stabilized. And
but you got this place.
they had a Garland Villa available.
Yeah.
And you know who used to own this place? Ann Coors of Coors Brewery.
Really? This is, I mean, it's an amazing place, but the one thing that I find interesting about the areas like this is like the community, right? So you have a lot of friends, new people moving in, right? What would you say is the hardest part about being in a place like this, or what's like a challenge of being here, being in a retirement community?
I can't really think of any challenges. Well, the biggest problem for me is being able to attend everything that's available.
Right.
You know, movies. Every day you got free movies across the street.
Yeah. But I remember, because I was part of your, we were working together at that time when you just moved in here. And I remember about 4 months or so after you moved in, settled in, you told me the hardest part about being here is hearing the ambulance.
Yeah, that doesn't even occur anymore for some reason, because they don't turn their sirens on inside the facility now.
But I think you're illustrating the fact that that time was limited and stuff like that, and then you have friends that you make, and then
they're gone.
They're gone.
But you get used to that now.
You do?
Oh yeah.
You don't think it weighs on your mind in the back at all, or how is that?
Not really. It's.
I mean, going through your life, you've seen a lot in your life.
You begin to realize that you're in an age group that this is going to happen.
No.
And it's just part of life. My time is coming someday. I don't know when it's going to happen, but it's going to happen. I didn't expect to lose my wife. You know, I only lost her because of an arrogant and greedy doctor. And he took care of me for many, many years, and I don't see him now. I won't see him anymore. But I just couldn't bring it to myself to sue him for malpractice. I had everything necessary, but I just couldn't do it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's tough. So, what do you plan to do today?
Today, I want to get out my schedule because I want to see what trips they have coming up. Because we just got a new schedule. I think you got it in my mailbox over there day before yesterday, but I've been kind of busy and haven't really looked it over. But I want to see what some of the good trips are they have coming up. The last time that I went to a real good one was with my wife when we went and saw a stage play downtown. They take you by bus, you know, and it's pretty good.
Yeah.
But that was Madame Butterfly. And it was really interesting. And I've shied away from those since my wife died, but I want to get back into it now.
Yeah, it's hard when you lose a loved one. You know, it's not the life you planned, but it is, you know, the cards that you're dealt at that time. And moving forward, you have to create your own path, right? And it's very difficult. But I appreciate you taking some time, you know, talking with me. I know we've talked about this before, and we're able to make it happen. You know, very interesting history with the Korean War, Chosin Reservoir, that piece of history which doesn't get enough attention, which I think, you know, hopefully we can highlight some of that and people can search. And then also, you know, coming into a retirement community, you know, some of the benefits of having a community, not having to do the garden or the maintenance of a house, like you said, and then some of the challenges, you know, being in an environment like this.
One of the kind of hidden benefits, people wouldn't think about it, but I wanted to have, we have a lot of birthdays in August, and I wanted to do something, so I reserved one of the rooms down there and set them up to build a cake, stuff like that. And we had a family birthday. We had 23 people.
Wow.
Sitting around the table down there, and two of them were my two little great-granddaughters locally.
Yeah. And
it's the first time they had been here to La Costa Glen, and all they talk about is the Glen. When are we going to the Glen? So I'm going to repeat that on a moderate scale on my wife's birthday, which is April the 12th. And I have two granddaughters. One was born in February, one was born in May. And I'm throwing a party for them. They're just, they love it when they come to the Glen.
Yeah. yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, because you know, they have regular meals for the adults, but for the kids they have a special kids meal. They give them macaroni and cheese, and a lot of ice cream.
Ice cream, yeah, it's always ice cream. Well, this has been great. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
It is only intended to provide education about the financial industry. To determine which investments may be appropriate for you, consult your financial advisor prior to investing. Any past performance discussed during this program is no guarantee of future results. Any indices referenced for comparison are unmanaged and cannot be invested into directly. As always, please remember, investing involves risk and possible loss of principal capital. Please seek advice from a licensed professional. Client First Capital LLC is a registered investment advisor. Advisory services are only offered to clients or prospective clients where Client First Capital LLC and its representatives are properly licensed or exempt from licensure. No advice may be rendered by Client First Capital LLC unless a client service agreement is in place.